eclipsing the ordinary and stepping into something most people won't ever try. Going 36 hours without food pushes your body into a place where things start shifting in ways few people understand. By the time you reach that mark, your body has already stopped using quick fuel from glucose and sugar, and it has switched into deeper hidden systems that scientists and doctors are still trying to fully explain. During this period, your metabolism begins to change, the way your cells generate energy evolves, and the internal repair mechanisms that usually operate quietly in the background begin to kick into higher gear. You'll learn what happens to your energy levels, your metabolism, your fat burning, and even your mental clarity, because at one point your body literally starts sourcing fuel from entirely different places than usual. Some of these changes are considered beneficial in certain scientific circles, like the potential for improved insulin sensitivity or the activation of cellular cleanup processes that may help your body function better long term. Other changes, like shifts in blood sugar, stress hormone levels, or electrolyte balance, can be uncomfortable or even risky if you're not prepared or if you attempt it too often. I'll guide you through these stages step by step, breaking down the science into simple terms so you can follow exactly what your body does at 12 hours, 24 hours, and right at that 36-hour tipping point where things get truly interesting. You'll hear about the metabolic switch from burning sugar to burning fat, the surge in fat breakdown that most people never witness, and the lesser-known physiological reactions that can affect mood, focus, digestion, and more. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why a 36-hour fast produces such strong reactions, but you'll also know what to expect if you decide to try it yourself, and what precautions most experts recommend before attempting it. This isn't just another diet trend or clickbait claim, it's a deep dive into how your body adapts to going without food, with insights backed by doctors and health professionals, and real effects that few discussions actually cover. So if you want to truly grasp what happens inside you when food stops coming in, and why your body reacts the way it does, stick with this until the end. Welcome to the channel, and if you're curious to explore more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe now so you never miss an eye-opening breakdown like this one. Your body begins a fascinating journey the moment you stop eating, and this journey changes as the hours tick by. In the first 12 hours after your last meal, your body is still in what some scientists call the post-absorptive phase. It has just finished digesting and absorbing the food you ate, and most of the energy it uses still comes from the glucose that was in your bloodstream and the glycogen stored in your liver and muscles. Insulin levels begin to fall during this time because there is no new glucose coming in from food, and as insulin drops, other hormones like glucagon start to rise to maintain balance. This hormonal shift begins to tell your body that it needs to use what is already stored rather than what is coming in. As the glucose from your last meal gets used up, you might feel mild hunger pangs and slight shifts in mood or energy as your body adjusts to using stored energy instead of fresh calories. For many people, this stage feels like a normal period without eating, with a bit of hunger and perhaps some fluctuation in energy or concentration, but nothing extreme yet because your system still has those glucose reserves to draw on. Once you pass about 12 hours, a more dramatic shift begins. The glucose from your meal and the bulk of your glycogen stores have been largely used up, and the body must find another way to keep running. This is where the 12-24-hour phase becomes significant. The liver continues to break down the remaining glycogen for as long as it can, but as these stores dwindle, your body ramps up lipolysis, the breakdown of stored fat into free fatty acids and glycerol. These fatty acids can be used by many tissues for energy, and in the liver they begin to be converted into ketone bodies, molecules that can serve as an alternative fuel source, especially for the brain, which cannot use fatty acids directly. This marks the beginning of a metabolic state, often called ketosis, where fat rather than glucose becomes the primary fuel source. During this period, you may experience a noticeable change in hunger, either increasing as your system searches for food, or decreasing as ketones begin to suppress appetite signals. Some people report changes in alertness or mood, sometimes feeling sharper or more focused, while others feel a bit dizzy or irritable as the body adjusts to relying more on fat and ketones and less on rapid glucose supply. Growth hormone levels also begin to rise at this point, which can help protect lean muscle mass and support fat breakdown. As you move past 24 hours and approach 36 hours, the changes become deeper and more complex because the body is now fully committed to fasting metabolism. With glycogen largely gone, ketone production increases significantly, and ketones start to provide a much bigger share of energy for the brain and other organs. This shift is also linked with a process called autophagy, a cellular repair mechanism where cells break down and recycle damaged or unnecessary components. Autophagy is a natural cleanup system that can remove defective proteins and organelles, and research suggests it becomes more active after a day or more without food. While the exact timing of maximum autophagy can vary between individuals, many scientific sources indicate that as fasting continues beyond the first 24 hours, this cleanup process begins to ramp up. During this stage, fat burning becomes stronger and more efficient because your body is drawing heavily on stored fat and ketones for energy, and insulin remains very low, which supports continued fat mobilization. Some people experience a sense of mental clarity or steadier energy because ketones can provide a stable fuel source, while others feel fatigue as energy levels adjust and the lack of incoming calories continues. Because all of this is happening with only water intake, electrolyte balance can begin to shift as the body loses sodium and other minerals, which can affect muscles, nerves, and hydration status if water intake isn't balanced with minerals. In these later hours, you may notice subtle changes in mood and energy as your system switches fully into deep fasting metabolism, with your body operating far differently than it does in the fed state or even in the early hours of fasting. All of these phases, the first reliance on glucose, the transition to fat and ketones, and the deeper metabolic adaptation that follows, are part of how your body manages energy and resources when food is absent. The timeline isn't abrupt, but rather a gradual shift where systems adjust and hormones orchestrate a complex balance between maintaining function and conserving resources. As hours without food stretch toward the 36-hour mark, the processes that began earlier continue to strengthen, and your body becomes increasingly efficient at using its internal reserves and activating cellular repair pathways that are not typically as engaged during normal eating patterns. As the fast reaches the fourth-hour window beyond a full day, unexpected changes begin to emerge in ways that catch many by surprise, even those who have done intermittent fasting before. One of the most striking observations is the sudden shift in energy, which can swing dramatically from moments of unexpected vitality to periods of sluggishness or lethargy. Some people report feeling a surprising rush of alertness, a heightened sense of focus, or an almost jittery energy that seems to come from nowhere. This is largely due to the body ramping up the production of ketones and other energy substrates as glucose reserves are exhausted, while stress hormones such as cortisol rise slightly to help maintain blood sugar and mobilize stored fuel. This spike in energy can feel almost euphoric for a short period, creating a sense of mental clarity and heightened awareness. However, not everyone experiences the surge in the same way. Some individuals encounter the opposite effect, feeling tired, irritable, or lightheaded as their body struggles to adjust to a new energy source, especially if hydration and electrolyte balance are not carefully maintained. The emotional landscape during this stage can be equally unpredictable. Hormonal fluctuations, the depletion of rapid energy glucose, and the increased reliance on fat and ketone energy can trigger mood swings, heightened sensitivity, or even feelings of frustration and impatience. the body's internal adaptation mechanisms are constantly at work, responding to these changes with finely tuned adjustments. For example, heart rate and blood pressure may adapt subtly to ensure organs are perfused with adequate blood, despite changes in energy substrate use. The nervous system modulates alertness, sometimes leading to moments of clarity that seem almost unnatural given the absence of food, while at other times conserving energy and prompting the mind and body toward rest. These adaptations are part of the intricate, largely invisible systems that keep the body running under stress, systems honed over millennia to survive periods of scarcity. During this phase of prolonged fasting, it becomes critical to understand who should avoid such practices entirely. Individuals with certain medical conditions, including diabetes on insulin or other glucose-lowering medications, heart conditions, low blood pressure, or electrolyte imbalances, are at greater risk of complications if they attempt a fast lasting more than a day. Pregnant or breastfeeding women, children, and anyone with a history of eating disorders should also abstain from extended fasting. Hydration becomes an essential focus during this period, not simply in terms of water, but also in maintaining electrolyte balance with sodium, potassium, and magnesium, which are crucial for nerve function, muscle contraction, and overall metabolic stability. It is equally important to recognize the signs that the fast should be broken, which can include dizziness, severe fatigue, nausea, palpitations, or other unusual symptoms, indicating that the body is under stress beyond safe limits. While prolonged fasting has scientific backing for certain benefits, it is never a replacement for professional medical advice. Each individual's physiology is unique, and fasting protocols should be approached with caution, awareness, and, when necessary, supervision from a healthcare provider who understands the risks and benefits in the context of a person's health status and medical history. Despite the challenges and potential risks, there are several benefits that emerge as the fast continues, particularly as it reaches the 24 to 36-hour mark. One of the most commonly observed effects is a gradual acceleration in fat burning as the body shifts entirely to fat and ketones as primary energy sources. For many, this is a primary reason they experiment with prolonged fasting, and it is coupled with the deeper metabolic changes that occur during the extended period without food. Another significant benefit is improved insulin sensitivity, which occurs as a result of lowered circulating glucose and the reduced need for insulin to manage frequent meals. Over time, these intermittent periods of reduced insulin activity can help the body respond more efficiently to glucose when food is consumed, supporting metabolic health and reducing the risk of insulin resistance. Alongside these metabolic benefits, cellular level processes such as autophagy or cell repair are enhanced. During fasting, the body identifies damaged or unnecessary cellular components and recycles them, which contributes to better cellular function, potentially reducing oxidative stress and supporting long-term health. Many people also report a sense of mental focus and clarity, a phenomenon linked to ketone production, stabilized energy supply, and hormonal adaptations that enhance alertness in the absence of food. This mental sharpness can be contrasted with the brain fog that sometimes occurs in everyday eating patterns influenced by sugar spikes and crashes. These combined effects, fat burning, insulin sensitivity, autophagy, and mental clarity, create a unique physiological state that few experience in day-to-day life, and that showcases the remarkable adaptability of the human body when faced with the absence of external fuel sources. Going 36 hours without food is not easy, but it shows just how adaptable and resilient your body really is. From switching energy sources to activating deep cellular repair, your body works hard behind the scenes in ways most people never notice. If you found this journey fascinating and want to see more insights about how your body reacts to fasting, metabolism, and other health experiments, make sure you like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss an eye-opening breakdown. We'd love to hear from you too. Would you try a 36-hour fast? Comment below and let us know your thoughts. Stick with us, because the next video could completely change the way you think about your health and energy.